Just magic is from
Alex,
yeah.
come here. I don't want to miss it. I like this. This is a steak.
I hope you guys got that on video. Really?
It did. That is steak. Ready? Rina? Hey! How you doing? How are you doing? Okay. Welcome to the world of the FMA. We were invited by the host, the owner, the Russian house, and we will thank you, Alexander Pizarkin, to invite me, to invite everybody here. It's the best of the world. Showing off again. I like showing off. This is me, Babit Abona, and this is Mr. Hibachi. And this is Amagoro Gatuno Abudio Bay. And this is the live now for him. The knife guys, Dionaldo, believe me, you're gonna like it. Alright? Do yourself and to Mr. Ray. Thank you.
Right? Okay, how's everybody doing? Good. Okay, so a little bit of history of what I do. I work a lot with military, law enforcement. So that was part of the reason why I do this particular system. And then part of it came about from me tracing back Panantukan. Yesterday we did a Panantukan Sombrada. Okay, I use that as a baseline to be able to basically control the violence within the flow. But I found out that Panantukan actually used small blades. Okay, so that was one of the keys. Okay, and then I traced the evolution of Panantukan from the Philippines all the way, around the world. Okay, and I found that one of the connections with other styles was through Hawaii, because the one place that all the Asian immigrants went to, two places, New York and Hawaii. That's why you see a lot of boxers in the New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia area. But you also see a lot of boxers within the California area, the SoCal, Stockton, San Francisco. Yeah. So as I was tracing it back, I was lucky enough to meet Ed Parker's family. And then they were able to fill in the gaps when FMA, and at the time it was a Chinese Kung Fu style. They call it American Karate, but according to the family, it's a short range or Southern Fist style Kung Fu. Southern Fist meaning close quarters. So you'll see Wing Chun is considered Southern Fist. Kempo, or what they call American Kempo or American Karate, is actually a Kung Fu style. That's where the colors of the uniform came from. That's why it doesn't look like most karate styles. Okay. Just like Remy did, he made it look more familiar so that he could, show modernity to the world. Ed Parker basically did the same thing. Okay. So a lot of the movements in Panantukan, you'll see in Kempo and vice versa. That's why they look very similar, right? Because they met in Hawaii, and then they trained together before they came to the mainland. Right? I plug in some of the blade work to it, okay, because of the people that I train. But in the process of that, I also was able to work on their timing sequences. Now, while I was at Parker, with Ed Parker. At his school, I was there for 4 years. That's why my first 2 videos were filmed at Ed Parker's studio in Pasadena, California. So if you're familiar with Kempo, that's his home studio. So they filled all the information in with me, and then I met, his name was Ron Boswell, who was the top student of Paul Mills, okay, who was one of the 10th degrees under Ed Parker. But he was also considered the fastest of Ed Parker's students because he was also the best in the world with handgun draw. Okay, so you'll see him on Top Shot and the Guinness World Book of Records for the world's fastest draw. So I worked with him for a little while, his top student, who actually helped him develop this. So he showed me the fast twitch reflexes, how to draw the blade, because in most FMA, you start with the blade out. You start doing the forms, you start doing, the checks and clears, you'll do a sombrata. Most recently, it's become template work, but all of that involves you seeing the blade first. But they never address what happens before the blade comes out. So I figured, I realized that was an important part of blade work, is to understand all aspects of it, as a whole, not just one piece at a time. So that's where, what we're going to do today, okay? So the first thing I'm going to show today, okay, so we're going to show a quick draw, okay? Quick draw, just like that, okay? But we're going to show it with motion, okay? So Panantukan, basically, Panantukan, right? Yesterday we showed the Panantukan, the body shot, okay? Position, body shot, that shot, good? Okay, so that's one version of Panantukan. Now, another Panantukan I use when I'm working speed, pure speed, is our 7 count, right? Because you have your hooks, right? You got your jabs, you got your body shots, you got your uppercuts, right? So you have your hooks, 1, 2, right? 1, 2. Okay, you got your jab, right? Right? You got your body shot. Okay? So when you put it all together, okay, you got your motion, right? Now, within all that chaos, okay, you have to be able to access that blade, right? So from this position, here's your draw. Okay? You guys get that? Okay, one more time. Cuts in a very short period of time. Now, I'm not just targeting anything in particular. I'm targeting, number 1, these. Because if I cut that, if he has a blade in his hand or a weapon, okay, he can't access it anymore. He can't hold on to it. Number 2, okay, if he doesn't have a weapon and I think he's going to access it, this jab will clip the brachial plexus, the nerve center that controls the hand. So if he has a weapon here and he goes for the draw, okay, and I cut that, all of a sudden this hand dies, okay? If I cut this, he'll do this, and then he'll do this, okay? So I need to stop the weapon system first, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, right? Next one, I want to create internal bleeding, all right? Because if I do this and he doesn't die, if I get this, I just let him chase me around a little bit and he'll bleed out. So I'll take the kidney, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Those the tendons, okay? 5, or 5, okay? Brachial plexus, take care of it creates internal bleeding, the subclavian artery and the brachial plexus, they run together. 6, kidney, internal bleeding. 7, again, the brachial artery, okay? And then I step back as I go. So that's what I'm doing. So in this motion, I have at any given time, okay, I can get my cuts. So I'm targeting specifically these points, all right? So that's what we're going to play with. We're going to work with the speed now. How do you create speed? Okay, you can just do this really fast. That's okay, but you have to get to the blade. And I thought, well, I've been doing FMA I'm in my 44th year now doing FMA, and I thought, well, okay, I can get to my blade. But when you're moving really fast, okay, when you do this, sometimes you grab here, and the blade flies out. Sometimes you do this, and then you stab, and you cut your own fingers off, right? So that's why the blades that you guys have were developed so that I don't have to open my hand. I can just leave my hands closed, okay, and it just goes right on top of the blade. Okay, that's what the hook is for. Okay? And also I like to grab it like this sometimes. Okay, yeah. So when I can thrust this way, I can come in, go this way. Right. So I trace my body this way. There's my draw. I trace my body with my thumb, and then I do my draw. Okay. This is where you see a lot of these reverse, okay, positions. Okay. The retreating maneuvers, right? The next part of speed, okay, is what we call potential energy. When I draw, I just don't go up and out. I put a little pressure on it. That's why you see my hand open, because when I draw, there's potential energy. Listen for the click, okay? That's that blade, okay, accelerating, right? Because most of the time when you hear a draw, that's what you hear. Because he's going up and then that way, okay? My blade never goes backwards. It goes straight all the time, okay? Maximum acceleration, okay? And that's why everything's a straight line for me. The next thing is, if you measure the distance, your triangulation, okay? If I do this, okay, 1 meter, 2 meters, all right? Count it again. 1 meter, 2 meter. So my hand has to travel 2 meters. All right? I'm going to cut the distance in half. All right? Now it's only 1 meter. I'm not any faster. All right? Speed is not all about being fast. Sometimes it's about the math, the geometry, the triangulation, okay, and the rhythm that you use. Okay, and that's something that we're going to work on. That's why I had you guys use the sombrado first, because you know if I ask him to hand me my blade, he's going to probably say no. Okay, but you know if I feed this to him and he checks it, there you go. See how he checks it? Okay, he's pushing my hand down. There you go. Thank you. Okay. So all of the movements within, okay, are sombrado. Okay, see that? Okay. He just gave me my blade, right? Now, he's usually going here, right? One more time. Here, right? So here. Okay. Here, here. Okay? It's all in one motion. Okay? So I'm able to access a blade, even completely hidden, okay, with no change to my speed, because the movement is going to be here anyway. Okay? See? That movement happens regardless. All right? Everybody with me? All right. So we'll play with this, okay? So our first drill, okay, is we're going to pretend Uwe has a blade. I have a blade. That's fine. We'll just stick it here. Okay? I work a complete 360 around the body, and then I start to place the blade in different places. Okay, either in my collar or underneath, okay, my sleeve. Okay, yes, something is up my sleeve. Okay. Sometimes we'll draw from inside the pocket. But when we first start our training, this is the easiest place, because if you look at it from a military perspective, okay, their firearm is here. Okay, I don't want to undo however much money the government spent, you know, to get this body mechanic, okay? I want to keep the body mechanic the same as much as possible, okay? One, it saves the government money. Two, okay, it makes my job easier because they already know how to do that, okay? So I just teach them to do that, okay? Simple enough. All right, so here we go. When Uwe draws from his weapon, okay, you're going straight down center line. Right? Now, this is why when you guys were doing the sombrata, the way you learned sombrata, right, it was this. Okay? The reason for that is when he draws, okay, I check his blade. Okay? Here's the mistake most people make when they teach checking the blade from the draw. They'll check like this, or they'll check like this. Okay? But my blade, okay, isn't going straight out right now. It has to come out of the sheath first before it goes out. So if Ubi tries to check me that way, see, his hand is cut. Okay? If he goes this way, his palm is cut. Right? So the easiest way for him to check me is to shoot his hand through this way. There we go. See? Now my blade doesn't come out. Right? And it's much quicker and much more efficient because fingers break easily. Okay? And just shoot like this. Right? So here. Ah. There it is. It doesn't go out anymore. Okay? Now here's the thing. With this movement, okay, if he's open hand, just does that. Here, okay, this hand is busy here, this hand is busy here. He punches a few times, okay? And I'm doing, okay? At some point, okay, leave your hand there, your hand there. At some point, I'm going to decide, well, I'm getting punched in the face, right there. Okay, and I do this.
Oh, thank you.
This. Right? So, this is the mindset that we work with blade, okay? The most efficient possible, the fastest possible, and able to override whatever, how you call it, natural, instinctive motions that you have. And we actually take what I call fetal position because we already know since before we're born in this, we're in the womb in this position, okay? So I take basically this motion, okay, and I apply that because we already know how to do it. I don't have to spend 10 years training a body mechanic. It's very quick to learn, right? So let's do the first one, okay? So Uwe draws, I shoot in, okay? You can grab, but I just shoot in because I don't need a lot of time, all right? So he draws, okay? There's that first motion. Got it? All right, let's play.
Проходите, братья. Мы сейчас это будем делать. Давайте по залу.